It has been more than confirmed by now that the upcoming Call of Duty game is Modern Warfare 4, and I just thought that I would compile a list of the top 10 things Modern Warfare 4 must have to be a successful COD game. And now, without further ado, let's get straight into this. And coming in at number 10 is a field of view slider on console. This has been a feature that is present currently in pretty much every FPS shooter out there right now. Even COD's biggest competitor, Battlefield, has had a field of view slider on console for years now. So I think it's about time that COD gets its own FOV slider too. And speaking of missing features, Theater Mode takes up the number 9 spot. I truly wouldn't have put Theater Mode on the list if it wasn't for me doing YouTube. Literally half of my clips that I use in my videos are recorded because of Theater Mode, and I truly think that it's a feature that should be present in every COD game because it can be used by YouTubers like me who want to check out their sick match where they went 40-3, or maybe it can be used by Disgusting Casual who wants to check out their camping gameplay, or maybe you're an MLG player who just hit 30 no-scopes in a row. My point is, Theater Mode is an amazing feature that is used by every type of COD player, whether that's a filthy casual or an MLG quickscoper. Theater Mode is appreciated by all. And coming in at the number 8 spot is constant support / updates. Let's face it, most COD games start losing players rapidly around 4 to 5 months into the game's lifecycle, and that's also around the time that the next COD game starts getting teased, and everyone starts getting hyped for the next upcoming COD game and completely forgets about the current one. So for Infinity Ward to maintain high player counts, they need to be constantly on their feet, constantly updating the game, balancing the guns, adding new weapons, new fun modes. They need to be constantly updating the game and supporting it, or it will lose players at a rapid rate, like with pretty much every other COD game before it. And speaking of which, one of the main pillars of core game design in the FPS genre that, if done right, will make Modern Warfare 4 a kick-ass game is map design, and more specifically, good map design. Infinity Ward needs to go back to their old map formula. They need to make unique, fun maps to play on. They also need to completely scrap the 3-lane design that has been plaguing every recent COD game. They need to design a good quantity of maps. They need to make maps for every kind of player. Wide open fields for players who prefer to snipe, tight maps with a lot of close quarter combat for SMG and shotgun players, some medium sized maps for a mix of both close quarters combat and long range engagements. They cannot mess this up. They need to get the maps right, because as I said, maps are a core pillar of an FPS game, and bad map design will just lead to a bad game. And speaking of disasters, coming in at number 6 is of course microtransactions. Enough is enough, okay? It's been 5 years since all the controversies with loot boxes and microtransactions started, and I think that pretty much all the goodwill and faith that was present in the community was pretty much completely tarnished by these disgusting anti-consumer practices. They need to fucking stop. This is literally the last straw. My point is that the COD franchise is on the decline. It's not as popular as it was, and its reputation is fading away because of Activision's greed. And I think if MW4 didn't have any kind of microtransaction controversy, it could rebuild some trust with the current COD players and maybe grab the attention of new players. Like, I'm not saying do not do them at all. I'm not against them, not even in a $60 game. All I wanted to do is just to have a fair microtransaction system that doesn't rip off the customer and treats everyone fairly. Even the people who don't buy the season pass, or the super ultimate digital deluxe edition, or the people who don't pre-order the game. They need to do it right this time. They have to, for the sake of this franchise, and if they want the COD franchise to relive its old glory days, they have to do this. Okay, next up, number 5, is a good amount of content. And what I mean by content is primarily maps and guns. Long gone are the days of MW2, where it literally had around 4 launchers and around 6 or 7 secondaries and 40 plus guns with 16 different maps all available at launch. And these maps, they aren't all 3-lane close quarters maps. some of them were a sniper paradise like Wasteland, and some others were really good for both close quarter and long range fights like High Rise, and some others were really tight and fast paced and were suited only for close quarters combat like Rust, for example. My point is that older titles, especially in the Modern Warfare Trilogy, had a wide variety of maps and guns, and I really hope that this same tradition continues in Modern Warfare 4. Okay, up next at number 4 is a complete game at launch. Look, I have no clue what's up with the COD games in recent years, but it seems like almost every COD release in the past decade has been launched in an incomplete state, with our most recent example, Black Ops 4, launching with horrendously bad bugs in pretty much every mode, especially zombies, where it would literally crash every other game. And with COD World War II, when the multiplayer servers literally weren't functional for the first couple of hours, and even before that with Infinite Warfare, when it did launch with one of the most basic features ever, which I'm pretty sure everyone is already tired of hearing it, leaderboards. The point is, for the past decade, COD games have been launching in an incomplete state, having game-breaking bugs, broken servers, or missing core features, and this trend needs to stop. The developers have more than enough time on their hands, and this is a $60 product, so we should be expecting a fully functional game at launch without any missing features. But moving forward, transparency is up next. Transparency between the developers and their community is essential with any successful game. And in terms of COD, they have been really bad at maintaining transparency with the community. And I think in MW4 and in any future COD titles, transparency is key, and it needs to be present from the first day of the beta to the last day of the game's lifecycle. I really cannot stress enough how important this point is, especially to maintain a constant and healthy player base throughout the entire year, which has been a problem that pretty much every COD game in the past couple of years has been struggling with. And speaking of maintaining a player base, coming in at number 2 is Uniqueness. And what I mean by that is, well, just don't remaster everything and add little to no content at all and just call it a day. Look, we all like the Modern Warfare games. Modern Warfare 1, 2, and 3 are what made this franchise what it is today, and COD 4 was the game that put COD on top in the first place, and this sub-franchise has been the birthplace to so many iconic maps, characters, weapons, stories, game modes, and most importantly, memories. But that doesn't mean that you should have 80% of the game be recycled and remastered content from previous MW games, because what will happen is exactly what is happening right now with Black Ops 4. It's that people will just get burnt out on the game and the player population will start dropping rapidly. So to sum up, yes, we do want remastered content. Yes, we do want to experience old iconic maps and weapons, but for the couple of maps and weapons that will be inevitably remastered or reintroduced, we need to have double of that amount worth of new and good content. And that's the keyword here, good. And at last, but certainly not least, at the number 1 spot, is that Modern Warfare 4 has to be related to the MW Trilogy. And I know that what I just said sounds completely hypocritical coming after the previous point I just mentioned, but let me explain. Do you guys know why Black Ops 3 wasn't that well received by the community? Well, in terms of story and lore, it was because it was presumably the last game in the Black Ops franchise, but it had nothing to do with the last 2 Black Ops games at all. But hear me out here. In Black Ops 1, we got introduced to the main storyline, characters, and villains of the Black Ops universe. In Black Ops 2, the campaign directly followed up the story of Black Ops 1, continuing and innovating the storyline of the Black Ops universe. But then Black Ops 3 comes around, which is a futuristic sci-fi shooter, which wouldn't be that much of a bad thing on its own, but combine that with a lackluster characters and story that literally has nothing to do with the previous 2 games at all. In fact, more than almost half of the characters we see at the end of the Black Ops 2's campaign aren't even present or even mentioned in Black Ops 3's campaign. The game seems to be called Black Ops 3 just for the sake of brand recognition and nothing else. So what I'm getting at here is that MW4 needs to continue on the Modern Warfare story. Yes, innovate, and yes, add new characters and storylines, but truly make it Modern Warfare 4. Not just name it Modern Warfare for the brand recognition. And for people to be as invested in MW4 as they were in Modern Warfare 1, 2, and 3, this game has to be related to the rest of the Modern Warfare trilogy. But yeah, this has been it for today's video, guys. If you enjoyed this video, why don't leave a like. If you have any thoughts or opinions you want to share, why don't leave a comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you in the next video. No Salt out.